Hi, welcome. Today I'd like to talk to you about organizational culture. When we think about culture, we often talk about the glue that holds an organization together. But what does that really mean? There are 3 levels of organizational culture according to hum-src-int. I'd like to show you these 3 levels and how they relate to, of all things, an iceberg. So, an iceberg underneath the water is actually much bigger than what we see. What we see when we think about organizational culture are what we consider the organization's artifacts. When we walk into an office environment, artifacts are those symbols, those representations of the organization, what they stand for. People wearing gear, proud of who they are and what they stand for. Part of those artifacts are also the way people say things and speak about the organization. So it's what we see, what we hear, and what we feel when we walk into an organization or are surrounded by an organization. Sometimes it's easy to identify, but difficult to understand. When we think about how we get to the point of what our artifacts are, we actually have 2 levels within our iceberg. First here, we have the organization's values and beliefs. And below the values and beliefs, we have these underlying assumptions. Now, values and beliefs can be as simple as the organization's mission statement, value statement as to who they are, and beliefs around the organization as to why they do what they do. When you look at the underlying assumption, it's harder to put a finger on what those are and where they come from. It's those perceptions and ways that an organization does things that we actually don't even maybe sometimes know why. Sometimes the organizational culture is that they just work on Saturdays because we just do, or because they just do. And no one's really stopped to think about why. Does it make sense? Does it tie to our values, beliefs, and who we are as an organization? So we have what we see. We have what we can't see. And when we consider these values and beliefs, sometimes it can be a bit of an organizational tension, because the values and beliefs that are on paper could be very different than the culture once you're within an organization. So when we look at organizational culture, there's often a much bigger underlying background as to how the organization got to where we are. So there we are, 3 levels of organizational culture: our artifacts, our values and beliefs, and our underlying assumptions.